So it's true then. Those dreams are but your memories. Morgan looked at Archer as he sat down on the couch, his arms spread out with one leg crossed over the other. He only nodded at her. Why didn't you tell me about this then? Truthfully, Master, I did a mistake at the beginning, which was, I forgot to tell you about the dream cycle. It was only during the time you told me you dreamt of a fire and a man saving a boy that had me remember about the dream cycle. Archer said, such a mistake is hilarious since I forgot one of the basic things. Then you're a survivor from that fire and you were saved by Emi Yakiritsugu. And he's the reason you wanted to become a superhero, Morgan said. And it seems like you've succeeded. Yes, that man saving me is what gave me a reason to become a hero. It's a borrowed dream that wasn't mine. To begin with, you have something to ask, don't you? Come on, spit it out. There's no use hiding anything given you already know who I am. It's not like it's important anyway. My name, that is, a name is something that identifies you. It gives you an identity. I say it's pretty much important regardless of status. Since when have you gotten so philosophical? It's just common sense. Yeah, well, common sense isn't so common sometimes. So why is it you didn't give me your name? It's simple, really. I just didn't find it that important. In general, I don't find myself to be close to my name anymore. If anything else, I'm just a nameless phantom who lost his identity. Lost your identity? Once again, you leave me with cryptic messages. To lose your identity, I find it hard to believe. You still have your name. You'll learn eventually what I mean. I do not take kin to hearing my name, nor accepting it. It's not who I am anymore. Concerning. Morgan said, who brought up a pair of glasses, a notebook in her hand. Do you wish to talk about whatever issues you're dealing with? You're having fun with this, aren't you? Archer said as he stared at his master. Nonsense, if anything else, although I'm not the best person in the world. Understatement of the century. Silence, hissed Morgan, as I was saving, although I'm not the best person. I'm also not the worst. Archer silently judges. Is it wrong to be concerned for my familiar? Especially after speaking my heart out to you the other day? That's right, she spoke her heart out to him. He saw her smile more, saw her speak to him more as an individual than being her slave of sorts. Come here, she waved her hand to herself, not asking him. But ordering him? For what? Archer stared at her. Just trust me. He only closes his eyes and nods, standing up from the couch as he walked until he was in front of her. Now sit. Am I a dog to you? You have been following my orders, have you not? Fufu Morgan teases the man. Archer sighs, sitting down next to Morgan on her bed. What is it, Your Highness? Archer but paid her no mind. Morgan stared at the man, inspecting his face, gripping the servant's face as she stared right into his eyes. Inspecting further. Archer only stares in question at what she's doing. To Morgan, meanwhile, she continued to stare at the dull eyes of the servant. Then she sighs. Good Lord, you don't know what taking it easy is, don't you? Archer was confused by the statement. Taking it easy. Morgan frowned as she began grabbing Archer from all around. His shoulders, legs, back, neck. She continued to grab the man who innocently stared in confusion at her antics. Can I ask something? You're being inspected for any signs of strain in the body, if that's what you wanted to know. Morgan said bluntly, not batting an eye at her familiar. Don't tell me you've had all these knots even before being summoned here, she said as she looked at Archer. Knots? Archer asked, confused. He feels fine. He doesn't feel anything out of the ordinary. Morgan frowned at the answer. You're accustomed to whatever had you get, all those knots, to the point where your body naturally didn't react to it, she said. This man, he's surely been playing his hero role so much that his body became accustomed to the strain and muscles hardening and tightening. Ah, now I see. You're talking about tensed-up muscle parts, Archer said, realizing what she meant. Indeed, the knots are sensitive areas of muscles, formed as they tighten and contract even while one is relaxed. Repetitive motion causes muscle knots to happen. And your body hasn't seemed to notice them if you feel fine. Fascinating, but unhealthy. What pride as a king shall I have if any of my subordinates harbour such a burden? Archer sweats as he saw the fiery gaze from Morgan. Grip P. He widened his eyes as her grip tightened on his arm. Flick. Gah! What the... The action was too fast. It was almost instant. He didn't realize she moved, not even himself, until he felt fully laid down on the bed. Fret not, Archer. As your one and only master, I must make sure my familiar is in perfect condition. Morgan said as she had the bowman's arm over his back, standing on top of the man, looming over him, her eyes glowing. Please do not resist. Resistance is futile. For some reason, this reminds me of someone, Archer thought. A flashback suddenly appeared over his mind. The face he cannot see clearly, but the long braided hair was silver pink, and the woman wore a red coat and black skirt, white boots and gloves. As head chef, you have to be responsible for taking care of yourself. I'll treat you this instant. Uff. He shivered at whatever flashback that was from. Your Highness. Ooh! Melusine stopped from what she was going to say as she saw the scene in front of her. Archer froze as he stared at Melusine. His face was to the side as he winced at his arm being pulled by Morgan. I see I caught the both of you in a very important procedure, Melusine said, a hint of pink on her masked face. No, it's not what it looks like, Archer yelled, but Melusine ignores it. May you enjoy yourselves. Melusine bowed as she left. Why does my luck hate me? Archer said, feeling dread and emptiness. But his eyes widened as he felt Morgan's strength increase over him. Frightened as he shakes, please go easy on me. Ara, worry not. Those knots will be gone soon enough. Crack! Not much is known about what happened that day. All that everyone knows that walked past the Demon Lord's room were the sounds of a man. His screams of distraught and agony were but heard that sent shivers down anyone's spine.